My name is Sibel Dasti. I'm a manager with the international recruitment team of INUNI, a sister company of GUS, Global University System. Today, I'm especially very excited to welcome one of our premium university, Canterbury Christ Church University, located in the beautiful Kent County, just 1 hour drive from London and 20 minutes from the seaside. We will be also discussing in today's webinar about the exciting undergraduate and postgraduate courses offered by the School of Law, Policing and Social Sciences at Canterbury Christ Church University. And for that, I'm joined actually by our colleague at Canterbury Christ Church University, Dr. Naribsa Ramsundar, principal lecturer and lead postgraduate teacher, as well as Mr. Richard Lanier, the International Business Development Manager at Canterbury. And on the INUNI side, my colleague Sukanya and Jinx in the background will help us have a smooth webinar. Just before we start, some housekeeping rules. You are all in mute. For any question, please use the Q&A box rather than the chat box, and we will be happy to answer all your questions at the end of the presentation. So for now, enjoy. And Dr. Narisa, it's all for you.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what time it is in your country, but I'm wishing you great greetings for today. So thank you very much for joining me for this webinar. And before I start talking, I just wanted to say something. When I was 14 years old, I read a book called To Kill a Mockingbird. And I had that passion in my heart that I must become a lawyer. And I would like to tell you that law has given me a satisfaction that no other career could have done. I have enjoyed practicing it. I have enjoyed teaching it. And I know that you would feel that way too, because law is such a discipline. It is one of those professions where you can actually make a meaningful change in the society in which you live. You can help people, and you can also attract a very good and stable income. Particularly those of us like myself who come from foreign jurisdictions, it gives you the ability to always have a job. For instance, many of us from India or from Pakistan, Bangladesh, or the West Indies, Nigeria, Africa, China, you can practice with your law degree in a private capacity, or you can work for a state organization. Now, before I start talking, I just wanted to share with you some of my experiences in my law journey. I initially started off life as a criminal prosecutor with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. I prosecuted over 100 cases in a number of matters ranging from murder, a variety of sexual offenses, and I did a lot of narcotics trafficking matters as well. Sometime in the late 2000s, I decided I wanted to do a master's in international criminal law because I so loved this criminal law. I wanted to see what opportunities there were for international practice. And from that, the rest was history. I became an international lawyer, and that law degree, having that domestic practice and having that law degree, has allowed me to work in the United Kingdom, to make a life in the United Kingdom, and to also attract international practice. I recently came from a 6-month work experience with the International Criminal Court in The Hague. So these are the things that I want to share with you. That passion, that love, that determination that the law can make change, and it can also be that changing instrument in your personal life. And we here at Canterbury Christ Church University are a very dedicated and passionate team who impart that passion to you. And we have also embedded it into the quality of the program that we are giving to you so that you can leave with not just a head full of academic knowledge, but you leave with skills, skills to research, skills to write, skills to speak, so that when you go into that job environment, you are well prepared. I would like to start this webinar now formally with giving you a brief overview of our programs and by identifying some of the key attractions to studying with us. So if we can move to the next slide, please. We have a very diverse law team staff, and our section director is a barrister by the name of Dr. Matthew Stubbins, and he specializes in areas of property law, land law, equity and trusts, and these areas. He brings to bear a lot of his practice-based experience into the classroom, and he's a very doctrinal lawyer. He goes into the nitty-gritty of the cases. Myself, I am the course director for the Masters of Law, and I am also a principal lecturer. Now, my area is criminal law, but as you would have heard from the start of the talk, I have also done international law and international human rights law. So my areas of expertise focus around these areas of criminal responsibility and fair trial guarantees to both accused persons and the rights of victims. Our dean is Professor Sue Mills, and she's the professor of the Graduate College. Sue Mills is a very distinguished critical legal researcher. Her work spans into areas of EU law, family law, and of course, human rights law. You would be surprised how much human rights law applies in EU law and family law, because it is an area that underpins a lot of our work. We are very excited to have joining our team Dr. Jaspal Kaur Singh. She's a barrister, but more than that, she is an AI expert. So she has introduced a number of programs into artificial intelligence regulation. And the beauty about it is that she is focusing on not just the global north, but the global south. A lot of her research looks at AI regulation on the Asian continent. She herself is a Malaysian, so she's very familiar with the ASEAN context, the Asian regional context, and she's doing a lot of work that is cutting edge in terms of understanding AI, data regulation, and governance. We have Mr. David Meltzer, who is a human rights lawyer and specialist, and he focuses on critical things such as human rights law, race and the law of vulnerable groups. So we have a very strong social justice theme in our work. We have Dr. Iris Busiakou, who is from Greece, and she does work in refugee asylum law, family law, and also in criminal law. She is also joined in that area of human rights with Dr. Emo Pierce, and Dr. Emo Pierce is from Nigeria. And Dr. Emo Pierce focuses on you learning about the legal system, understanding the tenets of the legal system, understanding its operations. She is also working with Matthew as one of the directors of the undergraduate program so that you have that full benefit of support from her. Both Ms. Enuma Monoke and Dr. Eunice Shang Simpson are international investment lawyers. These are corporate and commercial lawyers who have focused their practices on dealing with bilateral trade investments. And this is very useful, particularly for those of you who see yourself working within your foreign affairs ministries. Dr. Eunice Shang Simpson herself is also a former Crown prosecutor with the CPS. She's currently the president of the Kent Law Society, and she's also the chairman of the International Committee of the Law Society of England and Wales. We have Dr. Jen Dvorak, who specializes in medical negligence and medical law, and she's also addressing some of those topical issues that are right now facing us as a global community around euthanasia, assisted suicides, abortions, and these very difficult areas in medical law where there are very fine lines in what can be done and what the law is capable of doing. So altogether, we are a very comprehensive and diverse team. We are very diverse in our subject specialities. We are very diverse in our backgrounds, and we are very diverse in what each of us can bring to the classroom. When you put us all together, you have a formidable teaching staff that can help you with the needs that you have and the things that you want delivered through your program. So with the next slide, please, I will go on. For those of us in this room who are looking at the Masters of Law program, our Masters of Law program is called International Business and Law. As a result, you have two very competent business professionals. These are Dr. Samar Abdallah, who is originally from Egypt, and Dr. Betty Featherstone Light. They are both very competent individuals. They are business law academics, and they have also been coming from the corporate world, the tough tycoons. So they bring a lot of that expertise into that Masters of Law classroom with you. So next slide, please. On that note, then, I'm going to give you a little overview first of the Master of Laws program, and I will take your questions at the end of this presentation. Now, what we aim to do with our Masters of Law program is to engage you as students so that you can become business specialists and lawyers. And this is targeting people who are looking for effective roles in the international business arena, or if you want to do further research. So if it is that you would like to work within foreign affairs ministries, if you would like to work in corporations, non-governmental organizations, international businesses, this is the degree for you. If you would like to just use this degree to pigeon yourself out to work into international organizations such as the United Nations or other world organizations that have been set up under the UN, this is also the program for you. Because what we do here is that we are trying to build you a toolbox, and that toolbox consists of key knowledge, but it also consists of key skills that will transfer to the marketplace. Additionally to that, there is a key gift that we like to give all our students, and that is the gift of confidence. That is the gift of empowerment. That is the gift that when you walk into any arena, you stand up confidently because you know and you can speak and you can act. So our program aims to develop your ability to apply a big range of problem-solving skills and knowledges for any changes in the legal and business sector. Now, why did I focus so heavily on problem solving? If you think about yourself in a legal role, excuse me, if you think about yourself in a legal role, imagine what happens in that legal role. Somebody comes to you with a problem. So imagine yourself in an office. A person may walk off a street and they may come and they may tell you a story about a problem that they are facing. If you are working in a state organization, the state is your client and the state may have a problem. What lawyers do is analyze these problems and work out solutions. And we work out solutions in line with the existing regulatory frameworks that have been set by the state. Now, in studying here at the United Kingdom with us, you will obviously be learning the United Kingdom law. But in our Masters of Law program, what we are doing, you are learning the law that regulates international relations. Now, if a client comes to you with a problem, they do not want a theory. They do not want a suggestion. They want you to fix that problem. So you have to understand how the law works, what can be distinguished, what can be applied, how it can be put together to fix that problem. And that is called legal advice. So that is why we have a very heavy focus on problem solving, understanding core legal frameworks so that when you go into that world of work, you can problem solve. Now, hypothetically, let's say you didn't want to work in international law or law generally. These skills are transferable. The ability to take a large problem, break it down into smaller workable units and devise solutions is secondhand for any lawyer. Come to any of the meetings with the law team. We finish those meetings in 3 minutes because we get straight to the issue, apply the law, and then work out a conclusion. And that is a form of legal reasoning that is called the Iraq method that we apply. Issue, law, apply to the facts, conclude. And that is the thrust of how we are teaching you, so that you come out with that problem-solving ability. Now, we have to teach you the frameworks in which the law operates. And when I say frameworks, within every society, there are governing laws. So you need to understand the laws, and the laws comprises of treaties, cases, legislation, statutes, and soft law as well, sometimes directions, guidelines. And there's an extent to which these soft sources can also be applied to fix problems. So what we do is that we've divided your work into 3 trimesters on the Masters of Law, so that you will get different bits of these legal regulations and soft law guidelines that will inform your problem solving. In your first trimester, you are introduced straight away into a business module called Global Economics and International Finance. You are doing a degree in international business and law, so you set the scene by understanding the context in which economics and international finance have set the rules for your society. You also will be exposed to business methodologies as to how they work out data, how they assess problems, and how they are able to manage things in that vicious, often vicious corporate world. You also then do another module that is called Strategy and Globalization, and that looks at how you have strategic plans to advance the good of your corporation. These are core modules, meaning that everyone must take them, and they are weighted at 20 credits each. I then teach you something called Advanced Legal Research Methods. This is because many of you may be coming from environments that are strictly exam-oriented. But when you come into the United Kingdom, a lot of the work that you do will also have to be research-oriented. What is a good lawyer? A good lawyer is not just the person who knows the law, you know. A good lawyer is someone who can find the law. So that even if you didn't know the law in an area, a good lawyer is the person who would be able to use their skills to identify, search and identify the relevant law. And advanced legal research methods gives you that capacity to identify the relevant areas of the law. And I also go further to teach you basic things how to write, how to structure a dissertation, how to reference, how to marry different methodologies together. These will be new things to you. So we take that as a whole module by itself, and it's very on hands in terms of the teaching, so that when you go into your later modules later on in the year, you have these advanced legal research methods under your belt to support your learning. That leads us into your second trimester, which starts at the end of January. So trimester 1 starts in September, trimester 2 starts at the end of January. And because you are doing international law, you do public international law. Public international law is an independent legal system. Some states, like the United Kingdom, are dualist states in that we have domestic implementing legislation to implement public international law. Some states like Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh, you also are dualist in that you will have domestic implementing legislation to implement public international law. But public international law looks at international legal frameworks that have ascribed a separate legal system to regulate international relations, trade, finance, human rights, criminal responsibility, state responsibility. It is vast and it is wide. This is my module, and I love teaching it, and my students love learning it because it sets you on the path for the careers that you would like to target. We also have another module called Current Legal Issues in International Business, and this is team taught. Each of the members of the team will teach you a topic on their specialty that relates to international business. So every given year that you do this module, it's different, because it's dealing with what is going on in the society right now and how that could be impacting. It's very useful for students who would like to do PhDs or dissertations, because it gives you a lot of ideas of the very contemporary topical issues that are running through the discipline. You then can choose between investment treaty arbitration, AI governance law and policy, and human rights. Human rights is if you are theoretically minded and you like human rights and you would like to learn about the theory underpinning human rights. Those of you who would like to work in the digital world, like I said, we have Dr. Jaspal Kaur Singh, who is running AI governance, law, and policy. Her work is being cited by the Malaysian government. She has been asked to do many consultancy papers for the Asian continent, and she brings to bear that knowledge to you about how is AI being governed in regions and in the world. What are the challenges? What are the things you have to look for in the policy? Investment treaty arbitration targets students who would like to work in the international arena, negotiating bilateral investment treaties or even multilateral treaties on behalf of their states. This is led by Dr. Shang Simpson, and Dr. Shang Simpson, who I told you before, is not just the Kent president of the Kent Law Society. She is actually a member of the ICSID panel. ICSID is the International Convention for International Dispute Settlement. She is on that panel. You will be guested in your lectures by people who have been very distinguished in that field. So even within the classrooms, we introduce guest lecturers and so on to you who can truly add to your experience in terms of getting this level of expertise delivered at you. Next slide. Finally, from around June, you have your third trimester, and it's the dissertation. It's 60 credits because you are writing somewhere between a 10,000 to 16,000 heavy piece of work. So this is where your advanced legal research methods and all that you would have learned in trimester to come into fruition, because you write a heavy, substantive, knowledgeable piece of writing on a topic of your choice that relates to the international business field. I have supervised many wonderful topics where people have written about things that directly spoke to problems in their nation states, whether they were from Nigeria, Pakistan, Bangladesh, unique problems. Some students have also focused on larger global problems or problems within the UK. But this is an opportunity for you to let your skills come to its fullest fruition. And most students do dissertations in the fields that they would like to work so that they can use this dissertation in their interviews as a basis for discussion. Next slide, please. So those are the topics that we teach. What you want to exit with is a degree. That is a Master of Laws in International Business and Law. And to do that, you would have had to have passed everything over the year, giving you 180 credits. Since we have been doing this course since 2019, all of our students have completed. We have never had anybody completing with less than their full degree. But if people do not pass everything, if they pass only 120 credits, they get a postgraduate diploma. And if they only make 60 credits, they get a postgraduate certificate. This is not what you would have invested yourself and your time in. You want to come out with the degree. And our program, we give you amazing support. We support you from beginning to the end to make sure that you are completing at the standard that you are meant to complete. As I've said before, since we've been running this program in 2019, we have had nobody not completing. And more than that, for the last 2 years in a row, on the international student surveys, we have gotten 100% satisfaction from students in the student experience. This is no small achievement. Students consistently coming back to say that they have enjoyed studying with us is a great feat. Students have also fed back what they loved the most was the level of support. I cannot compare myself to other institutions because I do not work there. But what I can promise you is that when you come to us, you are not a number and you are not a face. You are a human being with your own dreams, hopes, and ambitions. And we are working with you, and we will take you over that finish line. Once you come to classes and you stay in touch with us, we are there for you. The level of support that we give is very significant. Teachers, tutors, and me as your course director, we are there 100% for you so that you do not feel alone in your studies. This is not just my words. As you see, we have had the student experience feedback verifying this. And if you go to our program on the website, you see some of the comments that students have made. We have also stayed in touch with our alumni, some of them who have gone on to do very wonderful things. And they also come back and they feedback to you as well. And you are part of that wider international law and business community. Next slide, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I plow into the LLB, let me just say, as the course director for the Masters of Law, I'm very passionate about it. I can safely tell you I have enjoyed every minute teaching every student from every jurisdiction that has come. I myself have some working Bangladeshi language skills, and my Pakistani is getting much better, and my Hindi, I'm working on the other languages as well, but it is a family. You will enjoy studying with us, and we are not just teaching you theories. We have all come from practice-based backgrounds, most of us. So we try to bring that skills base into the classroom, and that is reflected into the way that we assess you, the way we teach you, so that you leave confident and skills built. This is not unique to the Masters of Law. In our LLB, which is the Bachelor of Laws program, we also maintain that skills-based focus. Now, we are currently running these programs that you are seeing on the slides in front of you. There is a foundation year in law for students who have not done law before, or they may not have gotten the results that they would need to get into level 4 LLB. So there's a foundation year that they could come in and they do that extra year in order to prepare them to do the LLB. Students who matriculate at the required level come in to do the LLB, and they can do that with a foundation year, or if they matriculate and they are able to come in straight into the LLB, we have a law LLB honors program, and we also offer a law with criminology as well program. So these are the awards and these are the programs that we are working with at that undergraduate level. Now, this, unlike the master's, which is a 12-month program, the bachelor's program is more a 9-month program. So you have in your first year, you will do social justice in the English legal system. So you understand the English legal system, but you understand as well how social justice, access to legal aid, ability for people to bring cases before the courts, how does the court hierarchical system operate? These things are taught to you. You also learn law and obligations, and I will tell you why. If you think about law, law is a system of obligations and consequence. You have obligations. There are certain things you must do. And it's either you breach those obligations by things you do or things you fail to do. And these obligations exist in every area of law. So in the law of obligations, you understand obligations that exist in contract law, business relationships, and also tort law. Tort law are things like nuisance and negligence. Example, if someone gets involved in a road accident, or if someone is having dangerous dogs or poisons kept at their property. So you understand the law of obligations, so you get an overview of that in your first year. As you can see, we've done it in a very layered way. So you get these introductions in year 1, in your SEM 1, and then you build on that knowledge in SEM 2 by focusing more on precise areas of obligations now. So you get the overview in SEM 1, and you are layering up now on a more specialist level into contract law, criminal law. So what you see, this is called pyramid teaching. If you think of a pyramid, you have a big base on the bottom, and as you go up to the top, it gets increasingly taller and more narrow. So that's how we teach. We give you a good foundation, and then we start to drill into the more specific areas. And with each year that passes, you become increasingly more and more specialized as you layer up that knowledge going year forward. In year 2, we do public law, land law, and the law of torts. So you would have been introduced to the law of torts in your law and obligations modules in year 1. And the law of torts, like I said, there are things like negligence, nuisance, things like that. A tort is a civil wrong. You have two kinds of wrongs, criminal wrongs and civil wrongs. Criminal wrongs are when you hurt people by committing a crime. And the rest of the law is where you hurt people by doing any other kind of wrong. So the law of torts targets that area. Public law looks at the unwritten constitution of the United Kingdom, and you start to challenge when the state is in breach of its obligations to you. Has the state acted arbitrarily? Have state organs acted unfairly? Do you need to take these people to court? And public law looks at those things and the principles of natural justice. What are you entitled to as a human being? Land law, it does what it says on the tin. You understand property. What are your rights with property? What are your rights when sold? What are your rights as a landlord? How do you acquire interests in land? It is very complex, and it is taught by Dr. Matthew Stubbins, who is one of the leading experts on several of these topics here in the United Kingdom as well. In year 3, you learn something called equity and trusts. Now, in law, you are grounded by legislation and common law, case law. But in the let's say somewhere in the mid-16th century, a body of law came up that was called equity, because sometimes you want certain things that the common law courts could not give you. So equity is that area of law where if you feel you are still aggrieved and you have not gotten the relief that you wanted, this area of law functions to help you. Now, it operates in tandem with the legal remedies, but you start to look at things like specific performance, injunction, unique remedies that would speak directly to what a client wants. You also study trusts. Example, when you hold property on behalf of your children, when people hold property on behalf of their spouses. So you start to understand very complicated, nuanced areas of the law. Even though we have Brexit, we still have law of the European Union, and that is examined via a dissertation, so that for students who are interested in EU law, how is that European Union regulated? What are the challenges? What about that common free trade area? This module helps you understand those things. So all in all, over the 3 years, you are coming out with an amazing qualifying law degree. Remember, we are regulated by the Solicitors Regulation Authority and the Bar Standard Boards of the United Kingdom, so that our modules map directly to what they require from you. We are an accredited program, and we've also thrown in something extra. We've thrown in something extra called success modules. These are short little modules that help prepare you for life. So it's very career oriented. It's very skills building about like things like success in employability, how to manage yourself in technological environments. It's designed to be interesting and relaxing, but it's designed so that you are not just only taking in knowledge. You are also working through with some of the skills that you will need in life. And the way we teach and examine you on the LLB is not just only exams. We have various assessments that help you evidence skills that employers want: report writing, oral presentation, teamwork, group presentations, moots, simulated court hearings, so that even from just doing the program with us, the way we've assessed you, you can evidence some of the things like teamwork, prioritization, research and community skills. You can evidence it from your degree itself. And this boosts your employability options. Next slide. Next slide. So we've done a little map here so that you can see how it is that you would be planning yourself forward. So in your first year, you only have core modules. So you have to do all of these modules. In your second year, you have 3 core modules, which is public law, law of torts, and land law. And you can then pick some optional modules that will focus on the areas that you are most interested in. And these would be things like we give you the option to do the law of vulnerable groups. We give you the option to do family law, medical law, or international law and human rights. So you, over the 2 years, the two last years, that is in your second year and your third year, you do the core modules, but you also get an opportunity to pick two electives in areas that you would really like to focus on and specialize. Next slide, please. Now, what is great about our team is that as you come in your first week, you are actually assigned to a personal tutor. So you are directly assigned to a member of the law team. This person may or may not be teaching you, but you can meet once a semester or at least every 6 weeks. As an international student, you have to meet with us a bit more regularly because we have a requirement from the UKVI team that we have to report on that we've seen you and that you are okay. Now, the function of a personal tutor is that you do not feel alone. You have a coffee with your personal tutor, you chat through your experiences on the course. If you need any additional support, we make that happen for you, whether that be learning how to navigate the virtual learning environment, building up research skills, or improving your writing techniques and so on. It's a very informal but very pastoral way of helping you with your education, in that you have this person from beginning to the end that you could go to for anything. Sometimes if you're under stress and you need an extension on a deadline, it's there and it's available. So it's an opportunity to have a kind of support that is for you and you alone, for your own individual needs. And it is one of the most attractive things about our university is that we have very caring tutors and we have a very good pastoral regime. Next slide. Now, how are we going to teach you, ladies and gentlemen, and howsoever you identify? We do it on the basis of blended learning, in that you have a combination of face-to-face lectures and classes and some amount of online learning. So 80%, we will never do 20%, we will never do more than 20% online learning, because it's not a distance learning program, it's a face-to-face program that you have to get your visa for to come over. But we do have some opportunities for online learning when they are relevant and when they are necessary for your learning, for instance, so that you can do certain Teams presentations, certain court applications, because these are how these things are done in real life. Or if we have a really amazing guest lecturer from overseas, that would be an online class, because if that person is joining us from Vienna, or if they're joining us from New York, that class will have to be online. So your teaching is based on that mixed blended format so that you could get the best possible quality of delivery on what it is that you are studying. Now, some modules are only online. So some modules are only face-to-face and some modules will be only online. But you will only know that when you see your timetable. Now, we have a very lovely virtual learning environment and we call it Blackboard. So your online teaching is done there. But more than that, what we use Blackboard for is that we put a lot of materials there for you. So like your seminar work, your lectures, all of the lectures that we deliver, we put the PowerPoints on the Blackboard so that you can look at it after. We also put the recordings for the lectures. We put any supplementary materials, cases, journal papers, and so on that we would like to read, and lists of reading for you to do your own independent learning. So this is a really handy one-stop shop virtual environment where you can get things that you need. Now, we also, all of the lecturers, we have office hours, so that if there's something that you didn't quite get during the classroom and you need a top up or you need somebody to re-explain it, you just come in and see us during our office hours. Or if you want, we are never more than a quick email away. The point is so that you understand the material, because the better you understand the material, the better you can analyze it and the better you can problem solve. Next slide, please. Now, within, you are not just the law team. You are part of a wider university. So you are integrated into all of the activities at the university. Those of you who are doing the master's program, you are integrated into the graduate college and you interact with students who are also doing postgraduate work. So you make lots of friends, but you also learn a lot. And they also have a number of activities structured to design and to build. So the postgraduate people, you are integrated with the graduate college, but all of you are integrated into the wider university. You can present at conferences if your paper is selected, and also you have access to really nice things. We have an excellent sport and active health team. We have a range of sport and fitness opportunities so that you can live well and have a good life while you are here. You are also encouraged to join the student union and to take on roles and leadership there within the student union, not only because you meet wonderful people who are peers, but it helps build your CV when you start taking up these leadership roles from that very young part of your career. We have a very top of the line student well-being support team. This is divided into general well-being and mental well-being. A lot of people, sometimes because of the stresses of life, suffer with things like anxiety. Some people may have particular learning disabilities. They may be autistic. They may have certain impairments with sight or hearing. With our well-being team, these issues are identified and a plan is made so that you can have that supportive environment while you are working, so that we teach you in the way that you need to be taught and you get the support that you need to get supported. Because as I said, at the end of the day, we want you to complete your degree. So we have a very vibrant well-being team. The well-being team is also there if you need an extra layer of support. If beyond what your course director, your personal tutor, or your lecturers can offer, you need some kind of emotional or psychological support, we have trained counselors who work on those teams who are available for a quick chat and can give you that help or that support so that you really have a wonderful university experience. We have a careers development team and they run events, but you can also book one-to-ones with them in that they help you prepare CVs. They do mock interviews for you for jobs, and they also expose you to like what job opportunities are around in the local Canterbury area. So these supportive things, they not just help feed your mind, but they are helping your development as a whole person. It's a holistic approach to how you develop and grow over your undergraduate and postgraduate experience. Next slide, please. If we could go back to the previous slide, please, ma'am. This is our state-of-the-art library. It is, as you see, it's very beautiful and students enjoy working with it. I enjoy working there. It's divided into different areas. There are areas where you have dead quiet work, but there are areas where you could have group work. There are areas where you could even eat. There are even exercise equipment in some areas and sleeping pods. It has a cafe. It opens 24 hours, 7 days a week at exam time. And you have a dedicated law librarian who helps you with the legal materials. And it is very well resourced. Other than this physical library here, we also have a great online database. So part of your early learning with us is how to navigate the online database and come to grips with legal databases like LexisNexis and Westlaw. But it's a very beautiful library and you will enjoy your time there. Next slide, please. Now, we are fortunate that we are in one of the most beautiful cities in the United Kingdom. Canterbury is a UNESCO World Heritage City because of its lovely medieval streets, because of that cathedral that you see there in the horizon, and because of the historical impact that Canterbury made on the development of the United Kingdom as a whole. It is regarded as one of the safest cities in the UK, and students feel safe moving around. Now, as an ex-prosecutor, I say this. It is a safe city, but you always, everywhere you go, you take the necessary precautions. It is a very beautiful city with lots of nice parks, cafes, and it's also very close to the coast. So you have access to places like Herne Bay, Whitstable, which is by the seaside. So some people actually come to Kent to holiday. You are actually going to be living in that beautiful county where you not only are educating yourself, but you can have a really wonderful experience in Canterbury. I myself, and this is a selling point, I do not live in Canterbury, I live in London. And the reason why I can work in Canterbury is because of the excellent train access from London to Canterbury. There is a high-speed train that leaves from St. Pancras in London and it gets into Canterbury in under 50 minutes. So you literally can work on the train because it's a commuter train. It has tables, it's clean, it's pleasant. And as students, you would be entitled to have a rail card, which gives you a discount on your tickets. But even if you were living in Canterbury, oh my God, London is one of the most exciting cities in the world. You are 50 minutes away from that, from all of that history, from all of that excitement. So it's very well linked. It's also well linked to other areas, Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds. So it is very fortunate because of the train systems that work inside of Canterbury. So apart from our university, and a key selling point is where we are located and how we are located and the experience that you will have living within this area. Next slide, please. So I want to give you some key takeaways. We are a supportive learning environment. We are very heavily teaching focused, and we are very focused on making sure that students have a great experience when they study with us. We have different avenues for support, both to identify what support a student needs and to provide it. And we have very informal lines of communication so that you can access us easily and stay in touch with us. There are nice students here so that you will be joining an environment where people are pleasant. More than that, we are going to challenge you. We are going to take you in a supportive way and challenge you to develop strong research skills and to problem solve. And we want you to think critically. Do you have to accept what people have said? How do you fight back? How do you look for distinctions in the law to help yourself and your client? More than that, we want you to leave us speaking powerfully, confidently, articulately, and that you can write and present in a wonderful manner. People think a lawyer is someone who speaks well, and that's true. Part of the skill of being a lawyer is the ability to speak well, but your primary skill is the ability to write. The pen is mightier than the sword. You write well, you will speak well. And in order to write well, you have to make sure that you have the content in your head. You have to be able to understand not just how to describe the law, but to analyze the law so that you can use it as the weapon when you go into that courtroom. We are teaching you how to do this. We teach you to fight. We teach you to stand your own ground. And most of all, we are teaching you to believe in yourself. You have already made a decision. You have made a decision in coming to this webinar that you want to do something further for yourself. You have decided that you would like to make a career for yourself in the field of law. And I commend that. I can think of no other career that has given me the years of happiness, stability, and shared joy than the legal profession. And I would be privileged to impart that passion to you. And I say the road is not an easy one. Anything worth doing, you have to work. There's an old saying, with dreams comes responsibility. So what comes is that you have come to step one. You have the ambition. Step two is to put the infrastructure in place so that you can achieve your things. The road is never easy. There will always be challenges along the way. But what we hope to impart to you is that you are not going to be afraid of those challenges. You meet them head on, you confront them, and you move forward. You move forward until you come to the end of your own road. And each person is walking their own road, and we will consider it a privilege to share part of that journey with you. So thank you for your time, and I am open to any questions that I can answer. So I hand back over to Sybil.
Dr. Narissa, if I met you at the start of my academic journey, you would have changed my career path. This was inspiring, passionate. I fell in love with law, actually. Thank you so much. And I'm pretty sure our audience is in the same opinion as well. Before we move on with the question related to the law and law school, I want just Richard to give us a brief information about the accommodation, the tuition fee, scholarship.
Yeah, of course. And just to echo what you said, Sybil, what a fantastic session. Thanks so much, Narissa. So yeah, Narissa talked a lot about Canterbury as a study location. One fantastic thing about Canterbury, along with everything that Narissa said about it being very safe and very beautiful, is that it's very affordable as well. So it's a very affordable alternative if you compare Canterbury with somewhere like London. Student accommodation, we have lots of different options at very affordable prices, starting from £124 per week all the way up to £200 per week. And I think living in Canterbury, living close to the university, has got many advantages. Canterbury is a small city, and you can walk across Canterbury in about half an hour. So all of our student accommodation is within very easy walking distance of the library and of our main Canterbury campus as well. And final thing, Sybil, that you asked me about, scholarships. So we offer an international student scholarship of £1,500. So that reduces our overall tuition fee to £14,000 per year. Thank you,
Which is
Sybil.
quite excellent because there is a lot of university that practice different pricing for law school or engineering school. At Canterbury, I think the philosophy being, opportunities for everyone, education for everyone. The even studying law is actually the same price or fee for the student as studying any other courses, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we've got a uniform fee structure, so all undergraduate and all postgraduate programs are the same, priced at £14,000.
Excellent. I have some questions for Dr. Narissa that are specific questions that come up to me. Is it possible for an international student to join the bachelor degree in law on the third year or on the second year, like do a transfer?
I will not be able to answer that question. I think right now I'm not confident that the regulators do allow that, but would it be possible for us to get the details of that person so that we could make a better inquiry and answer that question? Like if they want to come into law on the third year. The
On the
reason
third
why,
year.
yeah, the reason why
It
I'm
doesn't
saying
seem very possible
it
in
doesn't
the
seem very
sense of the way
possible.
it's built, the program.
No, and I'll tell you why. Remember, we are regulated by the Solicitors Regulatory Authority and the Bar Standards Board. So it has to be that over the 3 years, you have the content that you want. This will be moving into a territory called recognition of prior learning, and that will be a case-by-case basis. So it's not a blanket answer that we could do, because remember, the content of your degree is not just Canterbury. It's an accredited degree, but it has to pass what the Bar Standards Board and the Solicitors Regulations Authority have decreed. So we might have to look at it and see.
Once you have graduated from Canterbury with your master degree or your bachelor degree, what are the career steps like to become an attorney? I know that in the UK there's attorney in law and there is a different
Sure.
attorney.
So we don't have attorneys at law. I trained in Trinidad and Tobago, and I am an attorney at law. And in order to, that means that I do two things. I can be a barrister and I can be a solicitor. And they do that in America as well. But I'll tell you the truth. They say that, but in life, they trained us for everything, but you do practice in one way. And I ended up being more of the barrister side. I have a sister who is an attorney as well. She was more of the solicitor side. So in England, they have kept it separate. You have barrister and you have solicitor. So you probably around your third year, you have to make a decision. Do I want to be a barrister? Do I want to be a solicitor? A barrister is self-employed. They generate their own work and they work out of chambers. They're paying their own bills, but they're also keeping their own money. And they handle the advocacy in a courtroom. Like, so they would lead the cases, cross-examine, examine, represent people before the courts. That is a different route to a solicitor who will work in a firm. A solicitor is someone who will be preparing the documents, undertaking the research, and so on and so forth, but you get a salary from the person who has been hired, so you are not self-employed. Now, because in the UK, it is so competitive in the UK to find jobs, what I have noticed is that a number of people, even if they want to become a barrister, they qualify as a solicitor and they work for a few years so that they build the business, so that when they become self-employed, they are moving with the practice with them. Because if you go directly into the barrister thing, you may be dependent on the head of chambers to send down work to you. So let me talk and explain this. If you do an English degree, LLB, if you do that English LLB, you can move straight into the qualification routes. That is like going either the SQE to do the solicitor's thing or the BVC to do the bar thing, because you would have had an English degree. Myself, my experience, my first degrees were from my country, Trinidad and Tobago. And even though I did my master's and my PhD here in the United Kingdom, in order to become a barrister here, I have to go through a process called the transferring qualified lawyer. So they will then tell me, they look at all the things I've done, and then they tell me, okay, well, you could do a pupillage, or you don't need to do a pupillage. It depends on their jurisdiction. So those of you who are coming in and doing the LLB, you don't have to worry about these things, because you just move up the English track. But the only thing you have to do is decide, do I want to do solicitor? Do I want to do barrister? You don't have to worry about that now. You could start worrying about that by year 3. And I would say, I'm not telling you how to lead your life, but you could decide. Most of the time I see people going solicitor, then the barrister, but that is something for you to chat. We actually have a legal education and practice lead, Dr. Eunice Shang. She's the president of the Kent Law Society. She would be happy to chat through these options with you and help you strategize the way forward. So in the United Kingdom, when you've decided which track you have to go, if you are going the solicitor route, you have that exam and you have a training contract, because remember, you're handling people's money and their lives. So you have to go through that apprenticeship. So it'll be like about 5 years education, because after you do your substantive law degree, you have your vocational element. And the same thing with the barrister. After you finish your degree, you have the vocational element, where you also then finish with a pupillage, and then your pupil master signs you off and says, this person is prepared to stand up in court on their own and do work. Because remember, it's people's lives and money that is in your hands, their liberties at stake. So you have to be really prepared to do that. So it's a long road. Law is a long road. You don't see the money, I think, initially in the first few years, but do you do it for
afterwards?
Do you do it for the money, really? You know, I never really saw any big set of money, because I never did those high paying like defense lawyer for the drug lord. No, I was prosecuting them. So afterwards, maybe down the line, but it's a stable life. It's a stable life. And you've seen the TV and so on, and you know about what all these high flying barristers charge. So if that's where you wanted to go, more power to
No,
you.
I think this is a very clear explanation for everybody to what to expect and what is the route to go there. Absolutely. Another question, is there any like case studies or, you know, practical part during the bachelor degree or the master degree where students get the opportunity to see a case or past case?
Yes, you can. So the thing is, there's no requirement for a work placement on the program. It's very academic, but you do have the opportunity to observe live cases, because we are around the corner from the Crown Court, Canterbury Crown Court, Magistrates Court. And ladies and gentlemen, as in your country, these are public hearings. Only sexual offenses and offenses dealing with children are private. Otherwise, that's the beauty of the English legal system. You are tried by your peers. Justice is open. You can walk into any courtroom, and there's an area called the public gallery. You can sit. You are also welcome to go to London, to the Old Bailey, that is the Central Criminal Court, or to the Privy Council, or to sit in the Supreme Court. These are public. If you want to go to these courts, you have to time it because so many people want to come. You want to make sure you can get a seat. So you may have to make a reservation. But yes, absolutely, you could go to courts.
Excellent. I do recall in a previous presentation that beside the library, on campus in Canterbury, students have also access to some material in London, correct? Can't remember the name of the school, but they have access to this library as well.
The British Library is open to every member, but you have to fill in an application form.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about the size of the classes? So how big are the classes? How many students, for example, postgraduates in the master program?
Well, we try to keep a very moderate size class. We do not go more than 50 or 60 at most, but right now the current class we have is 31. And we don't aim to go much more than that because we like to give people on the master's level that bespoke quality kind of support so that we would be able to give you that one by one. The LLB classes are bigger because it's a 3-year program. So it's a 3-year program. But what I would say, even if you have big lectures, we do break you up into small seminar groups of 10 to 15. So at any stage, you will never feel overwhelmed that you are in this huge class and nobody knows you because you get broken down into smaller groups. Some of your business modules are like 150 plus. You know what I mean? So, but at the end of the day, you have the benefits. You have big classes, you have small classes, and you get to enjoy that experience. But we do have that as a unique selling point. Bespoke support, individual attention.
Makes sense. What is the accepted study gap to join the master in law, for example?
No, it's any accepted study gap. I would like to tell you something. I had a student in 2020 and she was a mom and she didn't study for like maybe I would say 10 years, 10, 15 years. She went on to get a distinction. She went on to get a scholarship to do a PhD and she's currently finishing her bar exams.
Oh.
So it depends on your personal motivation. Some things you never forget. If you're passionate and you want to do your stuff, I was an old master student, because remember I had worked for several years. So I was in my mid-30s doing my master's. And when I went there and I saw all these 20-something, I was like, Narissa, what have you done? But it worked out beautifully. So I say don't set limits by age, sex, anything like that. You just be free and pursue your dreams.
I think you're an excellent ambassador about, not only the law school, but empowering education, even, later on in your career. It's absolutely empowering.
It is true, Sybil, and to everybody. I felt my heart quake in my first class on the Masters of Law. I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. But then look how well everything worked out. So sometimes it's you feel the fear, but don't let it control you. Go forward.
Very good. I think we replied to this question, but I would like to run it once again. Is it possible to do bar at law after completing LLM? International business and law, or students have to go bar after LLB?
No, you could do you could do it anytime. And some people choose to do the bar after LLM because it might help them be more competitive for the pupilages.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying? Because if everybody applied for pupillage with a LLB, most people are doing the bar now with the LLM so that you show that extra competitive edge. Like, you could show if you want to work in, let's say you want to work in a human rights set of chambers. Look, I did this program and I'm passionate. I published while I was doing my LLM. I was part of the organizing committee. I did this internship, that internship. So you go with a lot more to that bar thing, because the question in England is not about doing the qualification. It is about securing the pupillage or the training contract. That's where it gets competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is an interesting question about the unique selling point of the law school of Canterbury. So I would reply the first unique selling point, I think it's Dr. Nerissa. That's for sure the first one. And secondly, what would be in your opinion, compared to other university, because there's a lot of university offering a law degree, what sets Canterbury apart? So we saw that the academic body is actually very impressive, and I'm not sure people understand how much it is impressive, but can you give us your point of view on the unique selling point?
For me, our unique selling point is the pastoral support. A lot of universities, and I really don't like to compare, but a lot of universities staff may be focused on their own private research, but we are focused on the student experience. So you get a lot of on-hands teaching, and we also have a diversity of assessments. It's not just about going into an exam and learning a heap of things and then ticking a box. We have nice creative forms of examinations, which makes it a unique selling point, because I would say, like, you could use the assessment on your CV. Like, let's say you need to evidence group work. You've done collaborative projects, part of your assessment. So you could speak about your experiences there. So that's, or report writing, or me, I examine via simulated court hearings. I do not have any exams on my modules. It's like mock criminal trials, mock international law trials, things like that. So that's a unique selling point. A, great pastoral support. B, great team who are subject specialists. And C, is that I think one of the things is that we do aim not to have an overly big group of students at any given point, so that we can give you that bespoke support. And we do like to stay in touch with you. So that's what sets us apart from everybody else. And passion. You see, you have to be genuine with things. And I think you are all men and women of the world, good members of the jury, and you are able to bring your own assessment as to what you see. I am the course director for the LLM, and you can make your assessments on me. And if you were to see my colleagues, you will see that as well. You really want somebody who cares. You want somebody who is not seeing you as a number. And you want somebody who is in the world with you, not in an ivory tower. And that's
Definitely.
not us. That's not us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, what you said is absolutely right. It's a passion. It's Canterbury has, and the university has immense selling point in the law. And I did myself look at the ranking, how the student view the law school at Canterbury. And there is a very high student satisfaction for this course in particular overall. So I invite anybody that has question to also verify for themselves. It is a program that is a leading program in student satisfaction, the way it is taught, actually, the way students actually get
like I said, for the masters, last 2 years, 100% student satisfaction. And also on the league tables, law is 67 in the UK. So that's pretty impressive,
Absolutely. And it's not a very old program, correct, Dr. Nerissa?
No, it's not very. We are a new university.
Yeah. So you have all this new infrastructure, and I have to highlight something, because I think I say it every webinar I host. Canterbury for me is quite special because there is this trust of investing in students. So it's not a university where you pay outrageous tuition fee to get an education. You pay a fee to get an education, but the university, on the other hand, is also continuously expanding the programs, expanding the course that they are offering to students. That makes it really unique. It's 15,000 students at Canterbury Christ Church University. That's more than the half of the population of students of Canterbury. And it is a university that grew up from a teacher nursing school today to be the largest, actually, higher education provider in the south of England. So that's, I think, one of the selling points of Canterbury Christ Church University, personally.
Yeah.
Let me check if there is any more question. Oh, I have one question that's more for the postgraduate student. When you know, they have lectures and seminars. Are those spread during the 5 days, or are you trying to have them back to back 2-3 days so they have more
We
time?
do, yeah, we do compress their timetable so that you have so I aim that they come no more than for this they come no more than 3 days a week. Some people actually 2 days a week, so that way they could. I think some people on their visa they can work part-time, so that this allows people to make their maintenance fees and so on and so forth. So we do a very compressed timetable. It's compressed so that it minimizes, like if people are living outside of Canterbury, it minimizes the expenses, but also it also frees up time for you to do independent research. Because remember, you read law. Law is taught to you, but a lot of the development is you sitting quiet hours and going through reading lists, revising things, and building up the knowledge base inside of your head. So that if we compress the timetable the way that we do, it frees up days in the week for you.
We have one question very specific for Pakistanese students. So the question is as follows. Most students in Pakistan have queries for their target university one scholarship. We talked about it. It's £1,500 per year. Initial deposit. The initial deposit for Canterbury is £5,000, and that is toward your total tuition fee. And Richard, can you tell us about paying in full, or you have also the option of a payment plan, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So you pay your £5,000 initial deposit, and then when you register as a student with us in Canterbury, you can either pay the remaining outstanding balance, or you can split it into 2 equal installments of 4,500. So you can pay the first installment upon registering, and then the second installment you can pay a few months later. There is an initiative as well now. If our students pay in full upon registration, we give them a £250 bonus, which
Yes.
goes onto their student card, and they can use this to pay on campus for food and drink. And I think £250, it will go a long way, actually.
Absolutely. And the campus do have a lot of offering in cafeteria, restaurant, coffee shop for very
Yeah.
reasonable prices overall. MOI in Pakistan. So there's no MOI, correct, in Pakistan?
No, currently no MOIs in place. Obviously, as an international student, you need an English language test. You can check the details on our website, but we accept IELTS, we accept Pearson, we accept TOEFL, and we accept the Oxford online English test as
Is it
well.
6.0 like the other program for the law school, or 6.5?
Narisa, I think it's
I think it's 6.0.
6.0. Again, this is something to underline because most of the university will ask for a 6.5 for master programs. At Canterbury, undergraduate and master student do have to fulfill a 6.0 with no bands under 5.5, which is an excellent advantage for international students. Part-time job. So Dr. Narisa mentioned we have within the university the career office, but there is also outsourced company called Unitemp that
Yes.
posts regularly,
Yes.
a part-time job, volunteer job that you can access directly through their announcement. And it's local jobs, so it's not like on the other side of the United Kingdom. It's really local.
If I could jump in, on the first floor of the library, the ground floor, there's the careers office and the Unitemp's office, so that they can just walk in and speak to people there.
Excellent. And academic workload. So as Dr. Narisa underlined, they try to have all your courses in 2-3 days. That will give you the freedom to work first on your courses and then maybe have a part-time job or, a volunteer job on the side. Next question, does the university offer LLB with an international year 1? So I guess that will be if the student,
No,
well,
we
you have the
just
option, but international year one, meaning a foundation program from another university
when you
or
say
from
like
Canterbury.
any of these things where you are trying to come in with from another university, we will have to look at it and on a case by case basis, because like I said, is regulated. So you need to make sure that the content would be satisfactory to the Solicitors Regulation Authority or the bar standards board. So we wouldn't be able to answer that question generally. And I may also need to double check also, Sybil, I think the IELTS score for the masters.
Okay, that we can confirm
Yeah.
on on the
Yeah.
on live. Another question, well, we talked about the English requirement, but for Nigerian students, I believe they can actually present their VIAC under certain circumstances, but please do contact your actual in-uni team member for more details about that.
Yes.
Is Oxford International Certificate Test acceptable to get admission in law degree? So Richard, that's a question for you.
Yes, I believe it is, Sybil. Yeah, and all of the details on our English language
Website.
testing requirements are all on the website, very clearly laid out.
So one more thing that I will, we talk about the selling point that I would like to highlight. There's a lot of universities, again, in the UK that are moving away from the online English tests. And Canterbury has still maintained the Oxford English language tests online for the students. So this is also, again, I think a very good selling point for our university.
That's right. You can get a discount as well, Sybil. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Well, if you do the Oxford, there's a code you can put in. I think it's CCC25, and you get a discount to reduce the price of that as well.
From £25, I think they have a 25 or £30.
Yeah, I think it's £30 discount.
Yeah, I
exactly.
think
yeah.
£30.
Yeah.
Dr. Nerissa, thank you very much for your time. We have a little bit overstepped our time, but it was one of the most personally fulfilling, and I think also for the audience, webinar we had this year. Thank you so much for your time, your expertise, your passion, and students, please submit your application at the soonest. We are open for September 2025. Reach out to your counselor on the ground or reach out to us. Thanks again for all your time to come and come to the webinar today. Richard, Jinx, Sukanya, Dr. Nerissa, thank you so much for your time today. Have a fantastic end of the week.